from the northern lights to the annular eclipse and everything in between. We are constantly keeping an eye on everything in the sky, and that is what brings us here today. Welcome to our new monthly series, The Sky Above. We here at King 5 are going to drop these episodes at the start of each new month and focus on everything astronomy that is heading our way the upcoming month so that you know what you need to look up. We're talking about full moons, meteor showers, planets, stars, eclipses, and anything else that might make an appearance in the sky, day or night. I am meteorologist Leah Pizzetti. We are going to get started on what is heading our way this May. I'm joined this month by Keith Crum. Keith, you have a really extensive and interesting resume. Can we first talk a little bit about your background?
Sure. Currently, after retirement from the Boeing company, I applied to NASA and became a NASA Solar System Ambassador. And that's a great program that runs out of JPL in California.
Okay.
They do a great job, and it's really fun. They give us a lot of training. We get to do a lot of outreach things. In fact, this session today will be on the NASA website.
Oh, I'm honored. And you've also done a little bit of teaching as well, right?
Yeah, I teach basic astronomy all around here. I've taught actually also in Kenya. So that's been a great experience. Oh,
that's incredible. Yeah. Wow. Well, we are excited to have your expertise here. I think what we'll start with first is this month's full moon. It's called a flower moon. Let's first talk about the details of this moon.
Well, let's see. The flower moon is a Native American designation, actually. Pretty obvious why, you know. There's a lot of flowers out there right now.
Yes.
And it relates to the flower moon.
Oh, okay. So it's the timing of the year.
It's the timing of the year.
Okay.
And every moon for that month, whether it's full, you know, it's full at some point, but it gets a name.
Okay.
Right? So flower moon. Next month is strawberry moon, because they observed somewhere that strawberries were ripening. It seemed a little early, but
so pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
And what about, let's talk about the timing of this, the details. It's May 12th, correct?
May 12th, May 11th, 12th, right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Yep. And what I love, I just had to throw this little fact in. Our sunrise on May 12th is at 5:35. Our sunset is at 8:37. So this is one of those days that we are stretching toward that lovely time of the year.
Yeah.
And you have some visuals of the...
Yeah, so there's a picture of quarter moon. It's called a waxing crescent. Isn't that a nice name, waxing crescent?
Yeah,
you know, flower moon's nice, but waxing crescent is the more technical name for it.
Okay.
And it's really great because on a waxing crescent, you can go out and see it tonight, if it wasn't cloudy, and you can see along the terminus where it goes from dark to light, it's these beautiful shadows on there. So it's you know, let's not forget about the moon. We take it for granted sometimes.
I know. And it's cool. What I love about the full moon is we know it's coming. It happens every month. It's such a kind of easy thing to just look up and experience and see for yourself.
Absolutely. We do it every night when it's clear. My wife and I are out every night.
Do you? No, I love that. I love that. Okay, let's move on to our next cool thing that's happening this month. Eta Aquarids meteor shower. Did I say that right?
Yes, okay. That's it. The meteor shower. Yeah, it comes out of the Aquarids, gets its name from the constellation Aquarius.
Okay.
So it comes right out of Aquarius, appears to come out of Aquarius.
Okay.
It's actually the Earth going through the tail of Halley's Comet.
That's cool. What is this visual here? This was on NASA's website. What are we seeing here?
It looks like a meteor.
Okay. But
so it could be, it would be a meteor probably from, it could be from a meteor shower.
Okay.
Like Aquarids.
Okay.
I don't know how old this is, but there are meteors all the time. You know, there's like 8,000 tons of meteors that hit the Earth every day.
Yeah, and you know what? This is a visual from 2012, so it is a little bit older. But this, the Eta Aquarids meteor shower, what do you expect it to look like?
Like that. It would be a streak through the sky.
Okay.
And what's cool about the Aquarids is they make big tails that can last for a few seconds.
Oh, neat.
Now there's only 10 an hour.
Okay.
Here where we are. But they're still can be beautiful. The downside is after midnight, You have to see the eastern sky,
Okay.
and you have to be in a really dark place.
Okay, and yeah, let's get to those details here.
Yeah.
So the timing of this one, it's all of May, correct?
Yeah, it's all of May.
Okay, but we have
All
a
of May.
peak.
Peak,
May 6th, correct?
May 6th.
Okay, and like you said, it has to be dark, so we want to wait until
Yeah.
that sun, especially
Yeah.
now that it's getting so
Yeah.
late in the year.
Yeah.
The sun is setting later, so
Yeah.
the full darkness comes
Yeah.
later. So after midnight,
After
right?
midnight.
Okay, just
between
before
midnight
sunrise.
and 4 a.m.
Okay, 4 or 5 a.m. Okay,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you said 10. Is it meters per hour?
per hour.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they're going to be low on the horizon.
Yeah, on the east, due east, low on the horizon.
Okay, in your expert opinion, if you were to try to go see these, where in Western Washington would you be attempting? Where would you?
Eastern Washington.
Oh, okay.
But in Western Washington, Snoqualmie Pass area.
Okay.
Check the times because the park's closed, and so you got to
Yeah.
be careful. But yeah,
So, and that's, you said we look east, so obviously the Cascades are there. So if we were to stay in Western Washington, the Cascades would block
yeah,
them
that's
potentially.
why getting up towards Snoqualmie Pass would be better.
Okay.
There are some good views out to the east.
The higher
up there.
elevation. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Okay, or will you be witnessing it? Are you going to go?
I will probably go to Eastern Washington.
Okay. Do you have a favorite spot in Eastern Washington to go?
Goldendale.
Goldendale.
Goldendale, Washington, down by
Okay.
the river, down by the Columbia.
I love it. Okay. Okay, so that's the Eta Aquarids meteor shower.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the M2 globular cluster. What a
Good.
mouthful.
Yeah. So if you're out there at that time of night looking at Aquarius
Okay.
and the Aquarids,
Okay.
just up a little bit in the same constellation is M2. It's a globular cluster.
Okay.
And a globular cluster is about 150,000 stars all globbed up together.
Oh.
And they don't have a central core or anything like that. They're not really, they just hold each other together.
And this is what that looks like.
That's it. Yeah, that's a picture I took actually, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, isn't that? Oh, I love the globular clusters.
So can you see this with the naked eye?
You can see a smudge. It's right on the edge of our vision.
Okay.
I wanted to throw something else in here.
Okay.
If you want to see this stuff, the showers and so forth, don't use white light. Use one of these.
Okay, wait,
Use
let's
one
see.
of
What
these.
is this that
This
we're looking
is a
at
red
here?
light flashlight.
Okay.
There.
So, you're wearing it around your neck. Okay, so what would this do?
Well, red light you can use out where you're trying to keep your eyes from getting all blown out by the
Okay.
white light. So don't use white light.
Okay.
Get a nice little red light flashlight.
Can you turn it on again?
Yeah. I hope.
You just wear this around your neck? I love that.
I did it just for you today.
Oh, okay, good. So how would you use that when you get out there and you're actually?
Yeah, so just use it like you would a flashlight.
Okay.
But you want the red light won't affect your eyes.
Oh.
White light shuts them down. So even just a little bit of white light will shut them down. So you wouldn't be able to see any of that stuff, including the meteor shower.
So you're saying this is part of the eye adjustment period.
Exactly.
So when you park your car, you get out and you're trying to get your eyes adjusted,
Yeah.
you want to avoid the white lights.
Yep.
So use red lights to
Yep.
kind of get your way
If
around.
you blow your eyeball out, it's a half an hour before you can see things again.
Interesting.
30 minutes.
Okay, so that's a good tip for everybody.
Yeah,
If
really
you need to give yourself half an hour to adjust your eyes.
Yep.
That's fascinating. Okay.
And yes, you can see the globular cluster just barely if you have a really dark sky area.
Okay.
Binoculars are good.
Binoculars are good. Okay. Yeah, let's get to the information of that one. Okay, so and the name M2. So this is called the M2 globular cluster. Can we talk about how we got the name?
Yeah, Charles Messier in 1761.
Okay.
He identified 110 objects. He was actually looking for comets, like Halley's Comet.
Wow.
But he found all this other stuff, including globular clusters and other things like that.
Okay.
Nebula,
Cool.
things we can talk about.
And binoculars can help?
Yes, binoculars can help with M2.
Okay.
Yes. A small telescope is better.
Okay.
A big telescope is even better.
Okay. But you also could potentially see it with the naked eye.
A
little
smudge.
bit, a little bit,
It would
a
be
smudge.
like a smudge star.
Okay. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anything else we need to know about this one?
One thing that's interesting about it is if you think about the plane of our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy,
Okay.
these globular clusters sit outside the plane. So they're ancient things that come from, the formation of the galaxy 10 billion years ago.
Oh. It makes you feel very small.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah.
We're part of something so much greater, aren't we?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay, those are some cool things going on in the month of May, but you know what? Another cool thing that we're going to take a look back on when we come back, it's been 1 year since the incredible Northern Lights. Can you believe it? We're going to take a look back, talk about what happened, and can we answer if it happened again? Or
Definitely.
if it could happen again?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
All right, we'll do that when we come back.
All right.
Okay, welcome back. I cannot believe 1 year ago was that incredible Aurora Borealis show that was seen across the lower 48. It was, it felt like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Where were you when you saw it?
I was in Goldendale.
Oh, okay.
So I was down there in the dark sky area with my telescope.
So you knew to take the trip?
Yeah, I did. Well, I go down there every new moon.
Okay.
Because one thing the moon does is it blows your eye out, right? We're just talking about white light. So you want to go out to the dark sky when there's no moon, basically, or new moon.
And you captured your own visuals of it, right?
I did. With an iPhone. Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Oh.
I was looking at my computer, because that's what we do now when we don't look through telescopes so much, we look in computers, right? So, and somebody yelled, "Aurora, Aurora," and I looked up and there it was, and I whipped out the iPhone, and it was a 3-second exposure. It was just beautiful. I got the whole Big Dipper in it. So.
Yeah, and that was, it felt like, and it truly kind of was, that once in a lifetime. Like, we really hit that max. We haven't seen anything like it since. Yeah,
it's interesting how our memory works, maybe, because it really happens every 11 years. And so this is an 11-year solar cycle, and we're right at the peak of that cycle, just at the top. So the solar cycle this is solar cycle 25, which just means there have been 25 11-year cycles that scientists have documented. So that goes back, almost 300 years, right?
Wow.
And there's some before that, but that isn't very reliable data. So they count the sunspots. So the sunspots indicate activity on the sun, and it goes up as the 11 years go by, and then down on the other side. So we're right at the peak now.
Right now.
So actually, this summer could be as good or better than last summer.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what the aurora is.
Yeah,
why are we seeing these crazy northern lights, and why is it so colorful, and what is the science behind that?
Yeah, it's particles from the sun. So the sun's very active, which means it's throwing off stuff. And if the stuff comes toward us, it hits the atmosphere, and it makes the oxygen and the nitrogen emit light. So that's what you're seeing. The red that you see is oxygen. The blue or green is nitrogen. So those are the two elements in the sky. Well, those are the most common elements out there in the atmosphere, right?
There's a little extra.
Yeah, you get the light from that, the sun interacting with our atmosphere.
That's cool. I think I heard someone describe it as the sun, I can't remember if they said hiccuping or burping at Earth, but
yeah, it is. It's doing those. It's throwing stuff out, and it can throw stuff. The question is, when it throws stuff out, is it throwing it at us? Because it throws it out in all directions, right? So in order for us to benefit from it, it needs to come our direction.
Yeah.
The downside of that is it can hurt stuff that's going around the Earth too.
Can it?
Right. So that's a concern. In these high activity, we have more stuff out there now, right, orbiting than we did 11 years ago. So they're keeping us
We're
sharp
talking
eye
like
on.
satellites.
Yeah, the satellites. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, like
what would that potentially do
communication,
to a satellite?
Well, couldn't disrupt communications and so forth. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, so they're watching that closely. You know?
Because that is something that we talk about when I always love to see, you know, when we have the potential for aurora, read up and what's going on. And that's something that they've said is that it could potentially get in the way of signals.
Yeah, yeah. And so the particle, they know it's coming because the light comes here a lot faster than the particles. So they can see it happen, and then they can know it's on its way, and they can do some things to help, you know, prevent damage.
Wow. And then, and as a meteorologist, we're forecasting, right? So we forecast the weather,
Yep.
and whenever the aurora is potentially going to appear, that's one of the things, you know, the community turns to us and wants to know if it's going to happen. And one of the things that we've tried to communicate is that we can have the potential for the aurora, but it's not a guarantee.
Yeah. Not a guarantee.
How, like, when would it miss, and why would it not come to fruition?
Well, if the particles that are coming off the sun in these flares don't come our direction, then we're not going to have them. You know, we won't have it. It still could be high activity, but they're not in our direction. So that's probably the main thing. I predict, though, we'll see some just like we did last year.
Interesting.
I think so.
Okay. So, and let's talk about that 11-year cycle. So you said we're at the peak, you said this summer.
Yeah, this summer is the peak, yep.
Okay, so what should people know as far as making sure they're staying on top of if it's going to come, and how far in advance can we predict and forecast those impressive nights?
Well, not to take anything away from your forecasting of stuff,
No,
but
take it.
there are
Take it and run!
there are apps.
Okay.
And get the app.
Okay.
There are free apps out there for aurora forecast. I have one on my phone. I look at it all the time, and it shows you from the North Pole just how far down it's coming and how strong it will be.
Okay.
So they're good forecasting tools.
Okay, and I'm going to ask him this, and I have no idea what he's going to say, but do you have a favorite app?
Aurora forecast.
Okay, there we go. Self-explanatory.
That's what it is.
All right, and of course, well, we'll say this too. I mean, King 5 people, we will also stay on top of it.
Yeah,
you can stay tuned into King 5 as well. Okay, so with that timing, we're potentially hitting the peak. How long would that peak last?
Well, the peak lasts this year, essentially. That would be this summer, and then it starts going back down in this sun cycle. Okay. When I first started on this journey, I was at the Pacific Science Center, and I was doing solar education during the eclipse in 2017. Cool. And there was nothing going on. So we were looking at the sun, it was just a red ball. Nothing going on. But now, you look at it, there's flares coming out, there's all kinds of stuff.
Oh, neat, neat. And then aurora viewing tips. If we do have a night that's potentially going to have high aurora activity, what should people know?
Same ones we already covered. Dark sky area.
Yep.
If you're in Seattle, forget it. I mean, you gotta go someplace dark. You might be able to see it here.
You know what I will say? I'll say this. So 1 year ago when we had that incredible aurora showing, I was actually in Ballard. Yeah. And I knew it was coming. Yeah. And I stepped outside and I said, oh gosh, I don't know. We're in Ballard. It's really bright. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it. And I stepped outside and I looked up, and even in the bright lights of Ballard,
you got it.
I could still see it.
Nice.
It obviously was not as impressive as if I had been in a dark area, but it was still beautiful.
Yeah, and think about the iPhone too, or whatever good phone you have, because you can just hold that up steady for 3 seconds and get some beautiful pictures, your own pictures.
Let's quickly talk tips if someone is shooting on their phone. What is the best way to make sure you're capturing the beauty?
Steady hand.
Okay.
The one I sent you it has stars in it, and they're pretty round, so I had a pretty steady hand. Just point it north. That's where they're coming from. Okay. And hold your breath.
Hold your breath and cross your fingers.
3 seconds, maybe.
3 seconds. The long exposure, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, the cameras are much better at collecting light than our eyes are. Yeah. Our eyes are fantastic and beautiful, but cameras do. These CCD, they call them cameras they have now. They're in everything. They collect light beautifully and much better than we can see.
Yeah, and I've felt that. I'm sure other people have as well. But when you are, if it is a night where the aurora is out, if you look at it with your eyes and then you look at it through your phone, it's more powerful through your phone.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else aurora people should know?
Yeah, just keep looking up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep your eye to the sky.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, we have a lot more to talk about. When we come back, there are always cool astronomical events on the horizon. So still ahead, if you want to get involved and see these events with your own eyes, maybe help with some of the pros like Keith, we'll show you how you can get involved. Welcome back. So Keith, I just have to say thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh my gosh, your expertise is so interesting. And we found Keith through the Seattle Astronomical Society. Tell us a little bit about the group and how people can get involved. You guys are just a group of people who love the sky, right?
Yeah.
My kind of people.
Yeah. We have about 500 members. It's a pretty good sized group. We have monthly meetings.
Okay.
And the monthly meetings, we have them anywhere from the University of Washington in a fancy lecture hall to Bickerson Brew House in Ballard.
Oh, I love it.
So it just depends on what we decide we want to do. And we have university people, sometimes I talk there.
Okay. And you have meetings, but then you also will organize sky viewing events, right?
Yeah, so then we have night sky events. All the way from Duval. We have a star party out there that's at a big baseball field. It's really cool, nice dark area.
Yeah.
Red lights only. We have ones in Covington. We have ones up near Snoqualmie Pass. And they're pretty much every weekend, especially when there's no moon.
Okay.
So we try to avoid the moon ones.
Okay.
On the calendar, I'm looking at the calendar here.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about the calendar.
Yeah, on the calendar, it shows them on Friday nights and Saturday nights.
Okay.
Best thing to do is just go to the website and find them. I'm listing them off now.
Well, what are some coming up in May? What would you recommend? What's a good one?
Okay.
We're talking May here.
Duval. If you're out on the east side, Duval.
Okay. May?
Yeah, May.
A weekend?
So yeah, May, Friday night, there's a star party.
Love it. And can anyone just show up?
Yeah, anyone could show up.
Okay.
We do have a few that are members only.
Okay.
But most of them are open to the public.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And what I love about this too is it is called the Seattle Astronomical Society, but it's not just Seattle. In fact, I have a feeling you avoid a lot of Seattle viewing parties.
Well, we
for
actually
the
have one at Paramount Park School up in North Seattle, which isn't too bad. It's kind of dark there, and it works, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, that happens.
What's your favorite part about these events?
It is, my favorite part is when somebody looks at Jupiter and sees the 4 moons of Jupiter and just goes, oh my, I can't believe it. Or the rings of Saturn, or even the moon, people are just amazed. Many people never looked through a telescope.
Yeah.
So it's just great to have that reaction from people. I just love that. And we can get 300 or 400 people showing up behind our telescopes.
Wow. And you do have to have a telescope? Can you just show up empty-handed?
Oh no, we all bring our telescopes and people can just come and look through them.
That's amazing.
Also, if people have a lot of people have a telescope, and they haven't dusted it off in like 10 years or something. Bring it out.
Yeah.
Bring it out. We can help you set it up, how to use it, tune it up for you if it need be, or tell you to buy a new one.
Yeah, and you know what? That is so true, because I do think sometimes telescopes can be intimidating. Maybe you've had one for a while, you got one as a gift, you're not quite sure how to use it, so you're the expert, so you can help out with that.
Bring them out to the star parties.
I love it.
That's always fun.
What's your favorite part when you look up at the sky and you see something cool going on?
Well, after a night of looking in the computer or looking up at the stars or watching for meteors, I get in my zero-G chair down there, just tip back and look at the Milky Way. Yeah, that's what I like to do at the end of the night.
Nice.
But and then you never know what you're going to see. You see the ISS coming over, International Space Station.
Oh, that's got to be cool.
You see meteors coming through. You see Starlink satellites coming by. Those
Wow.
are pretty bizarre.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it. Oh, Keith, thank you so much. And just to remind everybody, this is going to be a new monthly series we're doing. So May is month number 1, but we're going to make sure everybody's set up for success and let you know what's going on in the incoming month so you don't get caught off guard and everyone knows when to look to the sky and how to get involved. And Keith, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today.
Great. Lots of fun. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody.